Hi everyone, today we're going to fit the new calipers.
Hello, welcome to Jerry Motorsport. I'm Jerry. Let's get started.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been a little bit longer than usual for getting another video out. Today we're looking at the brakes and putting them back together and bleeding them. Bleeding the brakes is something that I need to do, and you need to do every so often on vehicles because the brake fluid is hygroscopic. And what that means really is that because it can draw in water, that you end up with a mixture of brake fluid and water, and under pressure and heat that can boil, and it just totally ruins your braking efficiency. And what it also means is it introduces water into the system and can cause it to corrode in ways obviously you don't want on a braking system. So we've got new discs. We don't necessarily need new discs, but for the sake of all new, so we're going to have to do some running in of the brakes for a while before I can compete. But yeah, we've got to fit that caliper in position. So first job is to literally bolt it on. So the bracket that holds the brake line, I'm going to put the lock tab plate on there, put the bolt in ready. There's the hole on the back of the dust shield. Caliper. Try and get the bottom one in now. Through the tab, through the plate, through the dust shield, into the caliper, and then caliper into the axle. Okay, caliper is attached. Now, slight problem. Well, unfortunately, I've hit a snag with those new brake calipers. The casting is slightly bigger than the originals, and as a result, it rubs on the brake rotor or the brake disc and actually stops the wheel from turning. So I need to grind a section of that away so it matches the original casting. So here's the old and the new caliper. You see the old one has a flat section just here. This one's got a curved section. So I just need to grind that back a little bit so that that doesn't hit the disc and stop it from turning. Okay, so I've ground the front of this part of the caliper off, and now no rubbing. We're good to finish off putting that caliper back on. Bolts torqued up now, I've just got to do the folding of the lock tabs over. Cold chisel. And now I think I'm finally in position to put my new EBC Green Stuff pads on. Got the normal anti-squeal shim, and the kit comes with these pads which are anti-squeal sort of thing as well. So I'm going to put that on, and then the standard squeal, and then it should fit down the side there. But I've just got to stick those pads to the back of the Green Stuff pads. Springs are too wide. Now unfortunately those springs for retaining the pads, the new springs I bought, they seem to be a little bit wider than the ones that came off, and they don't fit in either the new or old calipers, so I've had to reuse the old springs. I don't really like to do that. They are a bit of a consumable item really, but they are actually fortunately in quite good condition, so I'm going to reuse those. Okay, that's everything put back in. We've got the brake line reconnected. All we need to now do is bleed those brakes, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, first thing to do is top up the brake reservoir before we put the eezibleed system on. Right, so this is my eezibleed kit. It's a container that's full of the brake fluid, the outlet pipe that you plug in to your master cylinder. That is pressurised by this black hose which goes onto a tyre. And then pressurising here, when you've got an outlet through your master cylinder, it pushes through the fluid up the pipe and into your master cylinder, just tops it back up so you don't have to draw air into your master cylinder. What you'll have to do if you haven't got one of these eezibleed kits is have another person push the brake pedal as you open the screw on the caliper, get them to hold it down, close the screw on the caliper, then they can let go, and then repeat the process until you've bled through. It's more time consuming, but it's the original way of doing it. If you haven't got an EBC kit, you can get a one-way valve that you can put on the bleed nipple, and that allows you just to push the pedal. It'll come out through the one-way valve and then not let any air back in when you release the pedal. So that's another way of doing it. But I've got the EBC, so I'm doing it that way. Okay, so I've got pressurised brake fluid in the system. So when I undo the bleed screw here, that should allow it a way out, and it'll flush through any air bubbles and catch it here in my tank, old bottle that I'm using. Until that runs continuously clear, I'm also going to keep an eye on the reservoir up the top, make sure that I don't run out of fluid. It's still got air bubbles coming through, so more air bubbles coming still. Okay, stop. Okay, that bang you heard was the EBC kit coming off the master cylinder. It just popped off. I've got a damaged pipe, and I've had to buy a new kit because I couldn't replace that hose. Had a few goes of that, but the pressure just keeps popping it off. So yes, unfortunately, sat around in the garage for a few years, hasn't done it any good, and it broke. Okay, I got a new kit fairly quickly, so that is now in situ, in place, and working properly. And it's actually got better fittings than the old kit had as well, so that's good. So now I can get back on with bleeding. So before I put this wheel back on, I want to get rid of the anti-roll bar because it's dangling at the moment, and it's going to be easier, I think, with it still on the car to try and remove that connection that was really difficult on the other side. So I'm just going to work that one loose, remove the anti-roll bar and get it tidied up, and then I'll probably just hang it up here loose, or at least, sorry, connected to the side that I've just finished. Okay, that's it for this episode. I've managed to bleed through the brakes on this one side, but I'm going to have to do the whole car. As I said earlier, it's very important to get the car's brake fluid changed every so often. It does vary depending on the system, but because the Midget has got these open tops, I think they let the moisture in a bit more readily, so I'm quite keen to change this a bit more regularly than I have done. So yeah, anyway, thanks very much for watching. Thanks to all the subscribers. Really appreciate your support for those that put comments on, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye for now.